Hey folks, welcome back. Okay, this is going to be a really quick video here. It is window installation week. Finally got our windows in. Well, just about all of them. We're short on one and a couple of mullion kits. But other than that, we've got what we need and I'm working on installing them now. So I have things kind of in various steps of installation and we're going to walk through just kind of what I'm doing here. And it is important, this is Colorado. It's dry here a lot, but this was just 24 hours of rain to go. So we've got about 1.5 inches of rain just in the past 36 hours. And even though we're technically dried in, there's still some moisture coming into the building and I want to get that kind of closed off. Also get the wind down. So we've got a bunch of fixed windows. They'll be going in that kind of picture window grid over there, and then a couple of operating windows and some other miscellaneous bits. So let's look at what it takes to get these installed. First of all, got to get the windows staged, and you can see my deck here is now kind of a staging area. So now that the deck is, not done, but hey, as far as I needed it to be for now, I'm able to lay all the windows out, kind of get them prepped and take the dunnage off and things like that. These are Pella windows. Really happy with the windows. Very good quality window. The shipping's kind of a pain in the butt. They've shrink wrapped everything, which is fine. Easy slip. They've got cardboard on all the corners. Fine. Top corners come off. But they glue with 3M adhesive, that insane stuff that never comes off, the bottom dunnage to the window. Now, I think if it's going to sit on a store shelf and you're sliding them around and you don't want that stuff to come off, that makes sense. But when you're shipping them for a new install, it's just a ton of work to get that stuff off. So, Pella, I don't know if you're listening, but hey, just, tiny little detail. One window that I have finished installing here is this kitchen window. And you can see what I've done is I've come back in and I flashed around the window, behind the window with flashing tape. Probably not enough, but it'll do, because don't forget that this is a fluid applied WRB, so anything that drips out the bottom there, I'm not worried about the tape kind of trying to intersect with Tyvek or something like that. You can see I've installed the window, and then I've additionally taped around the window flange, top and bottom. So it goes sides first, then a strip across the top, nothing across the bottom. That's on purpose. If any moisture finds its way in there, we want to give it a way to get out. So let's look at how all these systems intersect with each other. And you can see that I'm taking the belt and suspenders approach. So what I've got here is, this is the Prosecco R-Guard, and this is the flashing, the liquid flash. I have also been using the joint and seam filler, but this is the liquid flash that goes on like tape, or like paint, sorry, and it makes this very, very durable rubberized barrier here. Now, you're not supposed to leave this exposed forever. This is not meant to be the final coat. But on the outside, as you've seen, we've been painting on that exterior coating. It's really not necessary on the inside here, because all of this stuff is going to be covered up and concealed by the sill and everything else, all the other stuff that's going on in here. But what I did do, though, is that I wanted to give myself just a little bit of extra protection. So I've added a strip of that zip tape, and that laps from inside the window out over onto the outside. So if I missed any pinholes, or are there any other tiny little bits in there, I'm not too worried about that getting damaged, getting any water built up in here. So obviously there are some other final installation steps here. I had initially framed this a little bit too big. So you can see I added a framing member here. Again, just kind of boxing it in, getting the window where I wanted it to be. Really happy with the install, but I'll come back in with the foam and I will foam all these cavities here. There's a cavity that I can reach up down here. I don't think I'm going to be able to show that on film, but this is hollow here and looks down into the window, into the top of the window installation box. And again, that's just thermal break. So there's a gap there on purpose, and that's going to get filled with expanding foam. So all of this stuff will get foamed around, and I'll be working on that in a future step. And then if we come over, I can show you some other pieces more or less in progress. So here's another window that's waiting to receive its actual window insert. And you can see here's that R-Guard, and here's how it laps. So the R-Guard, the joint and seam goes along any gaps or seams, any corners. So there's joint and seam filler in all these corners, in any nail holes, anywhere where you need to bridge more than I think about an 1/8 inch gap, you put the joint and seam filler in. Then this is just the fast flash, which goes on with a paint roller. You can see it goes on pretty smooth, smooths itself out. All of this kind of weird texture is actually from the joint and seam filler below it. When you tool that stuff, it tends to leave ridges. It doesn't lay out perfectly smooth. And that's totally fine. Nobody's ever going to see this. The window doesn't even really sit on the sill. It gets screwed onto the face of the framing that's on the outside here. We use some nice panhead screws. I'll show you that one. So uses one of these nice panheads here it's truss head, sorry, that's designed specifically for this purpose. This is a T25 truss head, and I'm having really good luck with those. But again, just in case I missed any pinholes or anything in this treatment, I wanted to have just a little bit of extra insurance. So I am using the flashing tape. Now, I only bought a few rolls of the zip. I wasn't sure what my coverage would be, and I really can't obtain any more locally. What I was able to do, I'm running out of the zip, but I was able to get some of this this poly seal, window seal, or PolyGuard WS20 window seal, and it goes on very much like the zip. You see I have some of it here. It's not black, it's white. I'm guessing they're just trying to stand out here, but it feels like the zip tape. You roll it, you can even see it says roll it here. So it rolls on just like the zip, and it makes a perfectly watertight seal here, and you can see I've got that latched down and around. But I do have enough of the zip big stretch. So in my corners, what I'm doing is taking the big stretch, that's kind of the modern way to do this, and that goes out and then around the corner here. And the reason is that you lap these two tapes down onto each other. This goes on first, then these go down over it, so if water gets anywhere, it'll shed down. But there's always one little corner in here where you have to slit it, and it just kind of makes a 45 there. And so the big stretch just kind of makes that up, and you can see I've lapped that down and around. And so the big stretch helps fill in any last chance that something might go on. So this is a pretty impervious window. Here you can see this is what the foam will look like in that kitchen window. I've already applied it here just because I was here. I might as well put it in. And, you know, the space around the window will also get foamed, but with a less expanding foam. It's a special window foam, so you're just looking for it not to crack the window. So I got to do a little bit more rolling here. Looks like I missed a couple of spots, but I'll get on there and do that. And then get these windows installed, and all of them go in pretty much the same way. Really not a lot else to it. I can't film the actual installation because I'll be outside standing down there on a ladder, and I can't hold the window and hold the camera and do everything else at the same time since I'm working alone. So let me get these windows in place and we'll come see how they look.